Before the boardrooms and before the brands, before the businesses and before the breakthroughs, there was a dream, a whisper from God, a vision placed inside of you. And through the struggle and through the sacrifices and through the faith and the fire, you refused to stay small. This, this is for the ones who rose anyway, for the ones who turned closed doors into open highways, for the ones who never were given a seat at the table, so they built their own. This is for the entrepreneurs who see beyond the now, for the creators who transform the unseen into reality, for the leaders and the innovators, the risk takers that won't wait for permission to go higher. Here, we celebrate aspiration. Here, we honor the grind. Here, we elevate the vision. Because the road to success was never meant to be easy, but neither were we. We are the sons and daughters of resilience, the descendants of royalty, the builders of legacy, the ones that will outlive our name. This is not just a podcast. This is Level Up. I'm your host, Earl McCray, and in every episode, we bring you real game from real voices, from those who have paved the way to those who are building the way, and to those who will take it further than even imagined. Because it is not about just getting to the top. It's about bringing others with you. It's about breaking chains. It's about shattering limits. It's about walking in divine purpose and power. So, if you're ready to step into something greater, if you're ready to go beyond potential and into impact, if you're ready to stop waiting and start moving, then welcome home. This is where faith meets action. This is where dreams meet discipline. This is where we level up. All right, now it's time. Let's
That
level
was
it up.
powerful.
Let's level up. All right.
Let's level up. That's
Yeah,
powerful.
let's
I
get
love
it,
it.
man. Let's get it. Let's get it, man. Thank you, Lucky, for being with us today, brother.
I'm grateful to be here, man. I'm grateful to be here. I'm so grateful for this opportunity. Thank
Yes,
you for
sir.
having me.
Yes, sir. So in a minute, I'm gonna hand you the mic, but I want to properly introduce you to my audience. And my audience is kind of unique. You know, I got two specific demographics. I have a group that has been on this hamster wheel, this 9 to 5 grind for a minute. You know, they have kids, some even have grandkids, and you know, with our new president, they recognize I got to get in the business. I got to become my own boss. I got to get off this hamster wheel. And then we have another group, you know, they're young, they're ambitious. They've seen how the daddy did it, how the uncle did it. They don't want to go down that 9 to 5 grind. So they're on the social media and they're absorbing all the information they can so they can do things better. Because they recognize it's not about working hard, it's about working smart.
Smart.
And so they've gravitated towards me, and I love feeding them the insight. You know, I have two young men myself, and we're on a mission. My sons are punching a clock just so they can fund their ambition, so they can fund their side hustle. No more, no less. It's a means to an end. So that
Absolutely.
being our demographic, let me introduce my audience to you, man. All right, family, it is time, and you know what we're getting ready to get into. You're about to take another level up journey because our guest today isn't just in the game, he's rewriting the rule book, y'all. He's a business architect, a strategic problem solver, and the man who turns irritating situations into impactful solutions. I love it. He's a business growth strategist. He's a business growth strategic solution consultant. He's a lone hero, helping businesses secure the funding that they need to level up. And he's the visionary founder of L7s Inc., Lucky Seven Solution, the firm that is scaling businesses and streamlining operations and showing entrepreneurs how to secure the bag with innovative strategies and funding solutions. But wait a minute, there's more. Let me paint this picture. From the heart of Atlanta, Georgia, ATL born and raised, this man has built a movement rooted in 7 powerful principles that guide founders, owners, and operating directors. That's right, the food to grow, thriving, and dominant in their industries. Whether it's business credit solutions, lead generation, asset acquisition, or strategic scaling, he's got the blueprint to take you from an idea to impact. And if you're sitting there wondering, is this just theory? Think again. He's the creator of a powerful system like ABC, Foundation Club, the Bulletproof Business in a Box, and the R&R review and recommendation, proven tools that transform businesses and to build and business to business financial freedom. But here's what really makes him different. He's not just about building wealth, he's about building people. He's on a mission to educate, to empower, and to elevate entrepreneurs to create their own win-win scenarios for advisors, for brokers, and clients. So, if you're ready to change your situations with solutions on this season, if you're ready to learn how to leverage credit, capital, and connections to unlock your next level, then buckle up because today's guest is about to drop some gems that will change the game. So, level up, family, let's make some noise and let's give it up for the one and the only Lucky Links Goggins, aka Lobo. Now, I didn't get the last Lobo de
Yeah, Suerte. Lobo
Duarte,
Suerte.
aka
Captain of the
Captain
Seven
of the
Seas.
Seven Seas. Give it to me, brother. Give it to me.
That was
All
a great
right.
introduction, Earl. I know it was mouthful, but you knocked that out of the game, man. You just brought life. You just brought life to this podcast right here.
Man, look,
That was
my
amazing.
audience demands nothing less, man. They want the energy and they want the insights. And I know you're the man to give it to them, man. So prior to me jumping into my Q&A, and you know I go deep with the Q&A, tell,
Yeah.
tell my people a little bit about your origin story, please.
So yeah, as the great Earl just stated, my name's Lucky Goggins. Lucky Links became a DBA for conducting businesses because everybody's really joked about me being the plug and the link connecting people, to their solution when they had a problem. So that's where that come from. But my middle name actually does start with an L anyway, so it worked out. Same initials. But I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. I have very humble beginnings in the city called Boulder Crest, really South Side, Clayton County, in Atlanta, Georgia. Very low income, urban development type of place. But what changed my life was once I got out of that environment. Um, I would say 2012. I lost some really important ladies in my life. Two of my aunties to cancer, and they were in the real estate, and they did a fix and flip, a rehab in Stone Mountain, Georgia, and it was exposed to asbestos and developed cancer and died within a year. But before their transition, one of my aunties told me, you know, don't let your older brothers or your environment or your uncles or all the other men in our family tell you what it is to be a black man. Don't let them stop you. If you want to be a video game designer, be a video game designer. If you want to be a chef, be a chef. If you want to go chase, travel the world, travel the world. She's like, don't let them ever downplay your dreams, um, and what it is to grow up and be a black man in this world. And she said that because we was at a family reunion, which is always Thanksgiving time because that's my grandma's birthday. So they kind of bundled up together, grandma
Mm-hmm.
and Thanksgiving and family reunion all in one time out the year. And she would always coordinate it. The one who did real estate, she would always coordinate the gatherings. And that was the nicest and the most impactful and most emotional conversation I ever had with that particular lady before cancer took her from our family. And
How old was
um,
she, and how old were you, if you don't mind?
I'm not even sure of her age, but I know at the time I was very young. I was in around that time. I was probably like just getting ready to no, I graduated. I was about 19 going on 20.
Okay,
19
so you
20 years.
you were at that tipping point.
Right, right. I was definitely, yeah, I was very, very like, yeah, I'm an adult, but you know what I mean, kind of just like, you know, teetering on that, right? Old enough to drive, not old enough to drink type of situation. You getting ready to get kicked out of the house or go to college or go to the military or go wherever or do
Yes, sir.
whatever, just in that real nexus point that
Yes,
young
sir.
men find themselves. So she said that, and then I was in a relationship, and that lasted about 2, almost 3 years. And in 2014, my fiance passed from a heart attack in her sleep. And
Wow.
that really, but before that, that relationship taught me about the importance of financial literacy, the
Yes, sir.
importance of building a legacy, the importance of wealth building, generation, trust, foundation, just really setting yourself apart from the rat race. And
Hmm.
my fiance family came from Douglasville, Georgia, and came from some real old money, like, just doctors, lawyers, high class, upper echelon type of career fields. And so the vow was, oh, Lucky, if you're gonna be my man, you got to make me some money. You got to take care of me. So you can't just be out here in these streets in Atlanta, not, you know what I mean, not sure, not proving your worth or your value. If I see that you're valuable and you're gonna marry me, you got to bring it. And before that, the only goal I had really was creating my own video game with my friends and eating hot pockets all day. I didn't really have no goal outside of that. I didn't think about traveling. I didn't think about anything else.
Wow.
Just
She
hot pockets
forced
and
you to
video games.
level up.
Yeah, I have very simple ambitions. People was like, "Oh man, you must have went to a private school or had all this great training or did all." No, it was hot pockets and video games. Those were my things. And but after that relationship and after losing someone that felt like, my soulmate and the love of my life and was making me want to be a better man, made me want to be, a provider for more than just myself. And more than just my nieces and nephews and the others I cared about in my life. Wanted me just to be a better person. Indeed, losing that at first, it broke me. I'm not gonna lie.
Hmm.
Between 2014 and 2016, I called those my dark years because I was
Okay.
really lost after that. But I remember finding my business plan that I made to make us wealthy, to make us rich as a family, and I called it Lucky Seven Secrets or Lucky Seven Sauces or Lucky Seven Skill Sets. And then eventually I was like, yeah, it's a solution to something, so Lucky Seven Solutions. And in 2016, that's when I created my first LLC after I had a real divine intervention um, that showed me, even with the loss that I went through and even with the hardship that I went through, it was a reason. You know what I mean? It was preparing me for, harder trials to come down in my journey and to be able to
Hmm.
help people and empathize with people, not sympathize with people, but empathize with people and building them up and knowing that if you live long enough, you're going to experience loss. You're going to experience pain. You're going to experience times where you doubt yourself, and you're going to experience times where you don't see yourself as others see you. So the solution still worked, you know? And so in 2016, I started it and stopped working for the corporate world. I worked for insurance companies, hospitality companies, IT networking companies, Cheesecake Factory, Mercedes-Benz Stadium, um, Ernest. I've worked so many different jobs in Atlanta and around the country and around the world that I was like, why not take this knowledge and build my own, entity and build my own infrastructure that can help the people that I care about, you know?
Absolutely.
And so that's when the first conception of it. And then as I got more acute in my knowledge when it came to financial literacy, I changed the tax designation from just a basic LLC entity to C corporation in 2019. And in 2019, that's when, and I wanted to take my ego out of it,
Hmm.
out of the entity, because it wasn't just about me. It was about any and everyone that this information can help, that these strategies can help, that these solutions can help. So instead of Lucky Seven Solutions, compressed it down to just the three, L7S Incorporated. And from there, there's been different branding names, but for the most part, our mission stays the same. One, teaching people the importance of business and how it can make an impact and change their lives to get them back not only financial freedom, because we all want that, right? But
Absolutely.
time freedom.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, the memories you make with your family, the memories you make with your friends, the memories you make for yourself is all you're really going to have is your story.
Amen. Amen.
And when you get into a high finance, such as security license or series 6, series 63, all these different securities and bonds and investments and high profile financing, your bond is your word.
Amen.
And a bond is a very high negotiable instrument.
Right.
And if you don't know what a negotiable instrument, check your wallet, check your plastic in your car, check all these
Mhm.
IOUs, Federal Reserve notes. Insurance policy is anything. A negotiable instrument is anything that you can exchange for value that can be liquidated into a currency for that economy or for that ecosystem. And we
Correct.
use negotiable instruments all the time. So my whole idea, um, my whole infrastructure, the basic, I broke it down to the three C's: cash flow, credit, cryptocurrency. And a lot of people are intimidated because cryptocurrency is only about a decade or a little over a decade old. But the point is, it's still just currency, it's energy.
The
It's
energy.
an exchange, it's a negotiable instrument. And what baffled me was I found out about it in 2011. I just didn't think it was going to become mainstream as fast as it did. I was like, because
Wow. You heard about it early then.
early,
2011?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, man, 2011, and yeah, that was one of the biggest kickoffs for the L7's plan actually, 3 years before. And
Hmm.
so I did a job in Atlanta for someone, and I could be candid. I was what's called a white hacker, a light hacker. So I would get on the dark web and I would get into the other different parts of the web that most people wouldn't venture, and I'll show weaknesses and bugs inside the security of companies, and they'll pay me to find their bugs and their weaknesses. So that's
Wow.
a job that people can do. Like if you really are into, taking apart a computer, taking apart an operating system, if you can get really techie into those things, if you just have a passion for it or drive for it, companies will pay you to find flaws and holes in their system so they can improve it,
Makes
make it
sense.
better.
Makes sense. Hmm.
And so that's what I did on the side, especially getting out of high school. And I would do that very frequently. Like I was pretty good at it. So one time I did a job for someone um to I wanted to do three things that weekend. I wanted to pay my Metro PCS cell phone bill on my own. I wanted to go get a haircut, and I wanted to order some Papa John's pizza. Those are the three things I wanted to do. Like
Wow.
I said,
Very
very
lofty goals.
unambitious.
You shoot for
Very
the
not very
stars.
ambitious. Like yeah, like the levels of ambition is completely different from over 10 years ago. So 13 years ago, yeah, 14 years ago now. Yeah, it was really different. So the situation was, all right, I needed some quick money, and back then I did a lot of odd jobs: dog walking, painting, cutting grass, hacking, dark webs, or whatever contracts. So I did a job for someone, knocked it out, and I was looking for about $200. And the dude, instead of giving me the $200 for what I wanted to go do that weekend, um, he paid me in 20 Bitcoin, 20
Okay.
whole Bitcoin.
That
And
was your
so
introduction into crypto.
yeah, and in crypto. Yeah, that was my introduction to crypto. I'm like, well, what is this? This ain't what we agreed to. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like we agreed to $200. He's like, man, trust me, this is so much better. This is gonna be way more valuable. I was like, bro, like all this stuff you're telling me sounds cool for the future, but I need like US dollars. I need cash right now. Like, I did the job. Where's my bread? And so he was like, okay, if you need cash that bad, he's like, I'll show you how to liquidate it. I'm like, all right, bet. So he showed me these exchanges where you didn't have show too much KYC information, know your customer information. So very anonymous, decentralized is what it's called. So I get on an exchange, and he tells me to upload the value from my address, my wallet, to a gift card, like Amazon gift cards, iTunes gift cards, Apple gift, things like that. So I upload it to a gift card and then I go liquidate the money off a gift card. But first, I had to get someone to sell my Bitcoin to. And this is way before the Coinbases and the centralized exchanges and the ATMs and all the stores and all this stuff, and people having commercials and talking about it and all that stuff. So it wasn't, this was the wild, wild west back then in the
Mm.
crypto space. And so this big fat white guy, at least in his profile picture, he looked like the comic book guy from The Simpsons. Ponytail, real big, just real stereotypical. And he was like, he's like, yeah, you got some Bitcoin you want to sell? I was like, yeah. I was like, man, yeah,
How did you find him? Were you on Marketplace?
Polonial X. Polonial X,
Okay. Okay.
POLOEIX. And then there was a couple other ones. But I was on there, I was blogging, I was saying like, hey, I got some custody. I'm trying to sell. And the dude was like, please do not sell all these Bitcoin. He's like, I know you need cash, but keep some. He's like, don't sell more than like 2 at the most. And then this dude on Phone Next, and I'm like, I'm desperate for money right now. So he was like, I'll sell you $100 per Bitcoin you got. And I'm like, $100 for Bitcoin? I got like 20 of those. I'll give him 8. You know what I mean? Like, what's the, like,
Yeah,
I'm thinking
boy.
I'm up right now. I'm thinking I'm real good. I'm just like, and I can only imagine the people listening to this podcast who know, like, just feeling as sick as I did a few years later after the situation. But, so I thought I was doing well because I thought I needed $200 to have my little fun weekend. I got $800 because I sold 8 Bitcoin to the guy on Polonium. So he gave me the stuff. He uploaded to the gift card. To the gift card, I liquidated at the store. Boom, $800 in my pocket. I'm like, man, I'm up right now, and I had my little I made the wallets. It was on flash drives from exchange and a wallet storage application called Electrum. Electrum,
Hmm.
it was a decentralized way for you to make a cold storage wallet, and I explain that later. But cold storage is one of the best ways to secure your Bitcoin or your custody. And so I had that. I was like, man, that's so tedious to do all that. And something was happening with one of my friends later, like a year or two later. I just gave him the other 12 Bitcoin. I just gave him the flash drive.
What?
Yeah. And so now fast forward a little bit forward, getting to like 2014, well 2015 actually. Um the movie Dope came out. And it was made by the same director who made The Wood. That one of those classic black household movies, The Wood.
Hmm.
Three brothers, the marriage, slap station, Stacy the Crip,
Hmm.
slapping the girl, Stacy's sister on the butt at the beginning of the playground, all that. All that whole movie. So Dope is like an unofficial sequel of that movie. Same director and everything. And his premise for making the sequel was not only to kind of like make a new age version of The Wood, but he was trying to teach black people the power of Bitcoin, even back then, and
Hmm.
blockchain and cryptocurrency.
Hmm.
Because, and I'm not gonna like spoil the movies for those y'all that's listening, they want to go check out the movie. But the movie Dope changed my life. Because when I was watching it, I got so into the movie, I'm like rooting for the heroes, like the 3 heroes, and I'm rooting for them to get out of their situation because it seemed like an impossible situation to get out of that they got wrapped up in California, dealing with
Hmm.
cartel and celebrities and drug
Hmm.
lords and all this stuff. Like they just seemed like they were stuck. Like there was no way for them to get out of their situation. And how do they change their situation to a solution? Bitcoin. They
Interesting.
Bitcoin. They met a hacker at one of their geeky hacker camps, and the hacker showed them how to make a cold storage wallet and learn how to use cryptocurrency. And so the trouble they got in, they was able to get out of, and I'm gonna let y'all watch the movie after that. But they was able to get out of, and it switched up the whole movie, changed the day. And I was like, and I'm clapping, I'm like cheering, I'm like, I'm really into the movie, right? And then
Hmm.
as the credits start rolling for the movie, it hit me the value of Bitcoin that I gave away 3 years prior to that movie. And that I
It
sold,
boomerang right back to you,
it
didn't it?
came right back to me. That was the first time in my entire life to this day that a feeling, an emotion, like a realization, an epiphany made me physically sick. I literally went from cheering and jumping doing jumping jacks, watching the movie, to like on my den living room floor, like in cramps, like fetal position. My stomach cramped up so bad from the realization because right at like I think like a couple weeks after that, Bitcoin shot up to like $18,000 per coin. And I had
Interesting.
12 coins left after I sold.
Yeah.
Man, that made me sick. I was so upset. Yeah.
So
So
so look, go down this rabbit hole with me. Educate my younger viewers, the 18 to 28 group, that may not be familiar with 50 Cent when he was in his grind mode. Now, do you know do you know the 50 Cent story and how he bought vitamin water?
well, vitamin water, yeah. I
Yeah,
play I
share that.
play Blood and Sand. I play this video game, man.
Yeah, share that story with my audience.
So 50 Cent, Curtis, I particularly don't like his music too much. I mean, I don't like really most music from New York unless it's Wu-Tang. But 50 Cent is a genius businessman. And so before writing the TV shows, before doing everything like that, and instead of just the music, he was able to take his sources of income and do mergers and acquisitions and be able to get vitamin water, and not only be able to do that, but he recently not just sell it. He's just selling to get, yeah, like
Mm-hmm.
what I would like to tell to the younger viewers, the people between that age, man, no matter how it's not really how you start, and it's not even a downfall, it's to get back. It's how you get back up. It's how you
Mm-hmm.
pull yourself through this journey. You take whatever your lane at, whatever your passion is, whatever you're good at, whatever, whatever motivates you, and you use it and get in the game, and you make that game yourself. But to make the game your own, you got to learn the rules, and that's what 50 did.
Yeah.
50 stood apart by learning the rules. When he dropped
Yeah.
that song, "Have a Baby by Me, Baby, I'll Make You Millionaire," like when he dropped that,
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
wasn't just the lyrics, it was a legit legacy wealth building game plan in a song. You see what I'm saying? Like
He
50,
claimed it.
he
He
claimed
claimed
it.
it.
50, like I'm not gonna get into the whole him avoiding Diddy parties and him
Yeah.
avoiding and his beef with Drake or Nick
But
Cannon and
his
all
was
that.
interesting. His was interesting. He was allowing people to buy his music using Bitcoin before people knew how valuable Bitcoin was.
That was, yeah, that was for the stream.
And
Yeah, for the stream
that's
culture.
what 10x some of his buying power.
His portfolio, yeah, his buying power. And
You
that was another thing. So that's a great business model. I'm glad you're impressed. Yeah, he was one of the top few people around the world to do that. And
yeah.
so what I did after I got done being physically sick, because it made me sick, and that realization back in 2014, I started implementing L7S right then and there, because I would go around. I had connections all around Atlanta. I would go around to different studios like QC Studios, Quality Control, with Amigos and different things, and other people would be, and music producers and Def Jam record connections and the Gathering Spot and all these different places, Tech Labs, Google Square Labs, Midtown, North Buckhead. I would go to all these places in Atlanta, and I would teach the business owners and the producers and the managers how to accept and acquire Bitcoin,
Interesting.
because those people were starting to learn the value of it, just like I was learning the value of when Bitcoin hit its first all-time high. And so I figured, since I already gave away the ones that was given to me for that contract 3-4 years ago, I can at least start charging people for services, and I would accept them Bitcoin. And it's like, well, how are you going to accept something that nobody know how to use? Well, I teach them how to use Bitcoin first and how to
Mhm.
get it with their credit card, debit card, cash, whatever, money order, whatever. And then once they learn how to use it, I make them pay a bill with it. You learn better by implementation.
Interesting.
I give them
Absolutely.
experience. So I say, hey, if you was trying to get a pizza right now, right? Anybody in the Bitcoin or blockchain community know the joke about the pizza. But if we was trying to get a pizza right now, you're hungry right now, you want some food. What would you use? Oh, I'll probably use my card or credit card. Or I'll just wait till they get to the door, use my cash.
Mhm.
Or you could just pay for the order with Bitcoin, with cryptocurrency. Like, so I made sure to show them how to buy it, how to sell it, how to liquidate it, how to pay their normal expenses or bills with it, and then how to
Mhm.
store it. That was my whole little, quick crash course for any client that I did a job for. Then I would build them out of wallet. I would build the cold storage wallets, the flash drives. I'll custom program them. I'll show them what their seed is, their passphrase is, the importance of contingency, recovery. I'll make a whole plan, script and everything customized just per client. So that'll take me like a day or two to do all that. And then
Mm,
I'll walk through them hand in hand in person, show them how to do it, and I'll make them do the exercise to know that they know how to do it so they don't be trying to call me later and meet up and do all this troubleshooting and whatnot.
sure.
And people were so grateful for the education. You know, they would start inviting me to parties and rooftop parties and
Wow.
Falcons games and this
Okay.
thing and that thing. And so it was like a key to get around in certain rooms just by teaching people that skill set between
That's amazing.
2014 and 2016. Yeah.
That's amazing. And I mean, so you're dropping so many jewels right now because I have some audience members that are in that generation where they're dialed into that stuff, but they may not have the networks. They may not be in the rooms, but you're
Right.
hearing testimony of someone who leveraged something that he was interested in order to evolve, in order to level up. So it's not a theory. This is being done right now.
Being done. And
Yep.
the beautiful thing about it is a lot of people don't realize the U.S. corporation or U.S. government, and we put it depending on which one you want to strike it
Corporation.
from.
I'm with you. I'm
Yeah,
tracking.
you track right. So our country ratified the use of cryptocurrencies and blockchain technology in the year 2013. But there was no fanfare about it. There was no ABC News, Fox News, NBC News coverage, big alerts or nothing. But it was ratified. It was ratified in the Constitution. It was put in there in the year 2013. And so I thought it's funny that the U.S. government and officials in that type of government sector, and even people in the private sector, was already moving and transferring their assets into cryptocurrency and blockchain, smart contracts, and different assets, even back then.
Hmm.
But I know for a fact from the contracts I got doing IT work that allowed me to travel out the country, like I got to go to Canada, West Vancouver, in 2017, right before they opened up the Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. I
Hmm.
got to do a contract. Before I left and did that contract that summer, there was nobody really talking about Bitcoin publicly, right?
Hmm.
As soon as I come back from that contract to start my position at Mercedes-Benz Stadium as a courtesy officer from Safe Management, um, that's when I started seeing the Bitcoin ATMs in the gas stations in the stores. Um, the different wallets. Everybody's talking about it. Everybody's talking about like commercials for it. And that was 2017. But before 2017, there was no fanfare. There was no
Hmm.
education. There was no nothing. It's something that just happened as
Hmm.
far as the mainstream and the main public is concerned.
Hmm.
But anytime there's a big movement or a trend or a frequency or a wave coming, the 10% and the 3% and the 1% no, right? Everybody else is always being caught up on game late.
Correct.
And so it's like anytime when it's a mass adoption, if you're
Hmm.
only getting into something when there's a mass adoption or it's the normal thing or it's
Right.
normalized now or it's what
You missed the
everybody
wave.
else is doing, you
You,
already 9 times out of 10 too late.
you missed the wave. That's
You
right.
missed a wave. You missed a wave. Now, and it's two ways. Now you could beat yourself up about missing a wave, but you can't change the past. The only thing you can do is control what you react to it. You can't change. We control nothing in this world in this life. We don't control our reactions to it. So if
Correct.
you miss the wave, I'm a macro thinker. I think on big spectrum, scales, and I love finding the pattern. If you find the pattern, you find the truth. And so, and it's not to get off on a tangent here, but men lie, women lie, kids lie, numbers can be manipulated, books can be cooked. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
But patterns always tell the truth. Sherlock Holmes.
That's so good. That's
Patterns
so
always
good.
tell the truth.
Yeah.
Patterns gonna tell on you. I don't care who it is. When they say the criminal always returns to the scene of crime, everybody has
that-
a pattern.
That's a pattern.
If
Okay.
you find a pattern of anybody or anything, you will. It's no matter what we do. You could be so disciplined and know your habits, your
Yeah.
good habits, your bad habits, your lazy habits. They all got a pattern. I don't care. I know. And the one thing I learned when it came to like higher level conversations and higher frequencies, um, beyond just financial literacy, beyond just technology, beyond just lifestyle, is it takes 21 days to make or break a habit. Some
Mhm.
people hear that. Some people read the book. Some people got that from different things. You know, if it takes 21 to make or break that habit, it takes 90 days to make it a lifestyle.
Mm.
That's a new paradigm for you. That's a new mindset. That's a new way of
One
thought.
quarter. One
One
quarter.
quarter, three
Yeah.
months. And the one thing that the 21 day and the 90 days have in common is they're all divisible by the number that builds up structure and formation and foundation. And this is what I teach in ABC Foundation
Yeah.
Frameworks. This is what I teach in L7S is the power of three, the Holy
Yeah.
Trinity.
Yeah.
Whether you know it as the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit, whether you know it as the man, the woman, and the child, whether you know it as yin, yang, and balance, whether you know it as the good, the bad, the ugly, whether you know it as the judge, the juror, the executioner, whether you know it, it's shown out through our culture and throughout this world everywhere. But that philosophy, that formula, that technique of breaking down patterns and systems is what helped me make over $4.6 million before I was 30 years old at the age of 29.
Blessing.
And
Say that one more time. I don't want that just to skip over my audience head. One more time, brother, please.
so the ABC Foundation and Formula Frameworks, the power of three, what I teach to my students, to my mentees, to my, to everyone, um, is the power of three. And that mindset of being able to break down patterns using that formula, that technique, is what helped me reach my bucket list goal of making $4.6 million at the age of 29.
Oh, glory to God.
And so I got to be a multimillionaire in my immediate family. I was the first one before I was 30, and that's what I wanted to do. And I did
Mm.
it. Traveled the world, got my passport, got stamps, been in many countries, had fun doing it, just business paid for everything. For experiences that a young boy from Boulder Crest, Southside Atlanta, never thought he was going to experience.
Mm.
And
Beautiful.
so that is the power of learning that numbers is a universal language. I don't know if too many people remember the movie Dogma or The Devil's Advocate or Dogma or anything from like 1997 outside of the Matrix. So you have movies like The Matrix, you have movies like Dogma, you have movies like Devil's Advocate, What Dreams May Come. There's a lot of different movies that higher level entities wrote and got produced and got greenlit and all came out around that same time for a very specific reason. But I ain't gonna
Mm.
get too into the conspiracy theory and stuff like that. But the importance of those movies, the lessons that they all had a similar theme. Even though they were all different movies, they all had a very similar theme. Numbers is the language of the angels or language of the gods or the universal language. And so if you could figure out the patterns of the number, you could figure out the geometric and numerical patterns of life. And the one thing that I'll tell you to keep it simple is three is the number of structure. It is the number where the first shape is formed. And so most people heard of A plus B equals C, right? Correct? Pythagorean
Correct.
theorem.
Mm-hmm.
People like, oh man, we say it all the time in school learning Pythagorean theorem. I never use it in life. Right? Like people like to say that joke, not knowing that they realize that is life. That is the systems that we're in. We use A plus B equals C all the time without you even realizing it.
I,
Without you
I
even
I love
realizing.
this. I love this. Now, so Lucky,
Yeah.
my audience may not know this, but you don't know that I'm a math teacher. You don't know
Whoa.
that you speak in my love language. They don't know
Hey, I
that.
didn't know that at all.
Yeah. So when you're in math, or most of my folks are, when your children are in math, and they say, when will I ever use this in the real world? If they want to create, if you want to help them build a vision bigger themselves, everything's based on a pattern.
Yep.
Figure out what the pattern is, get the right mentorship, bring value to enough people, you'll get in the room and you will create history in your family. That is facts.
That's facts all day long. That's facts all day long, Earl. That's
Yeah.
facts all day long. And that's exactly why I didn't know how much I would love being a teacher or educator until those things happened in 2014 and 2016. Um, it got to that point where got a question? Somebody got a question?
No, that was me getting excited. That's all.
I got you. Okay.
Me
So
getting excited. Yep.
let me break this down. So I found out there's more than just astrology. A lot of people know, usually at this point, most people know the astrology, their star sign, their sun sign. So I'm an Aquarius. January birthday was just a couple weeks ago.
Happy
January.
birthday, brother.
Thank you. Thank you. It was a great season. In my 33rd chapter, my Jesus year, some people
Amen.
call it. And so when I started learning about numerology, astrology, numerology, cardology, psychology, like I really wanted let me rewind a little bit to give y'all some exposition why this matters to me. Growing up, I don't want to call it the hood per se, but it definitely was not, you know what I mean? It definitely wasn't upper echelon. Definitely wasn't suburbia. But growing up where I grew up, I saw a lot of strong, physically strong alpha males, you
Mm-hmm.
know, very strong, very, very strong, physically, intimidating, money, power, women, they had it, right? But for some reason, every man that had my skin color that looked like me, just, they were older, they were always in pain. And it's like being a little empathic, now that I know what the word is, being empathic, they had muscles, they had the respect of their game. They had the respect of their women if they was a pimp. They had the respect of their runners if they was drug dealers. They had the respect of their underlings if they was like the old OG on the block. But from what I realized, a lot of them were broken on the inside. They had scars all over their heart, scars all over their mind, scars
Mm-hmm.
all over their soul. And me, I grew up kind of like a bubble boy. Like I was very, very fragile. You could blow a dandelion my way. I'm boom, asthma attack. You know,
Mm-hmm.
chalk, chalk at school, asthma attack. This I had to constantly be on steroids, constantly on the butyrol, constantly on the machine. I could barely go outside.
Mm-hmm.
My mother had to rip up the carpet in my room because the carpet would get like smoke or different things into the carpet and trigger my asthma attack in the middle of my sleep every night. I believe from the age of like 4 to 12 years old, I probably was in the hospital over 40 something different times. It's just I was weak. And so
Mm-hmm.
all I could really do sometimes is watch the other kids and the other people in the neighborhood from my window, right? I just watch people live life. But in being like a people watcher, I could see the things that, I guess most people wouldn't averagely see. Their body language, their pain, their
Mm-hmm.
aura, their spirit. It's almost like looking at a heat wave on a barbecue grill or down a street on a hot summer's day. And you can see that vibration, that wave in the air, that
Mm-hmm.
wavy thing. I can see that around people when they
Okay.
walk, when they talk. And it was just I wanted to know how I could help people heal the scars you couldn't see.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what got into my passion of wanting to help people heal mental scar. I wanted to be a psychologist. That's why I wanted to be a video game designer. I didn't want to be a psychiatrist where I use drugs and medication to help people have breakthroughs, to help
Mm-hmm.
people have awakenings or get into the alpha state. I wanted to use a medium that utilized techniques of the three perceptions of how we perceive reality: light,
Mm-hmm.
light frequency, vibrational frequency, and energetic frequency. And that's how we perceive reality. And so I was going to use light and vibrational frequency through the medium of video games for my psychological psychology firm or practice to be able to help people have breakthroughs to heal from their traumas.
Sure.
And so
Yeah.
that was my main goal of being a video game designer. So it was the tip of the iceberg was the hot pockets and the video games, but
All
below
right.
the tip of the iceberg was a deeper
Well, much
foundation
bigger.
to
Right.
help
Much
people
bigger.
heal. And so um when I got into that realm of learning about the id, the ego, the superego, that's
Mm-hmm.
another system of three. The A plus the B equals C. And so when I was able to put all these patterns together and kind of decipher, with a codex, decipher these different systems and patterns and numbers and numerologies and things, I was able to figure out like, oh, okay, I'm more than just an Aquarius. My sun sign's an Aquarius, but my moon sign's a Scorpio. Oh, I'm more than just a moon sign and a sun sign. My earth or rising or ascendant sign is a Pisces like my mom. Because usually your ascendant or rising sign is one of your parents. And
Mm-hmm.
so I'm an Aquarius, which is air, the water bearer, but we're air sign. My moon is a Scorpio, which is a water sign. And Pisces is a twin sign, is also a water sign. So I'm air, water, water. And so when I started to look into these patterns and look into this 13,000-year-old science and numerologies and patterns, I was able to find out more about myself, know thyself. I was able to
Correct.
find out more about myself of why I was so sensitive to other people's emotions and
Okay.
their auras and their energy and their pain and their trauma, and why I just had this burning desire in me to help them heal. And so that was the God energy in me. That was that light in me. That was, we are God children. That was that light energy within me wanting to express itself by helping people
Express
heal.
yourself.
My
Yeah.
call. And
Yeah.
so putting that all together, my birthday is 127, January 27th. 1 + 2 is 3, 3, boom, you get to that. But if you take away the month from it, that 10, that 0, 1 binary is just 2 + 7. I'm born on the 27th day. 2 + 7 is 9. 9 is nothing but the final number. It is nothing but 3 upon itself, 3
Mm-hmm.
times, right? And you're going to love this, math teacher, love language. So if
Mm-hmm.
9 is the final number, because after 9, we just reset the position to make 0 and 1 to go to
Sure.
the next thing, but it's still only 0 to 9. If 9 is the next one and 3 is nothing but that, 9 doesn't really exist either. The highest number is technically 3. 0 +
It's
1 +
three
2 +
divided.
3.
Okay. All right.
Because
All right.
3 mirror and times upon itself is 9.
Mm-hmm.
And
I love
so if you break that down, we're gonna get real juicy here. You break that
it.
down
Yeah. Yeah. But
3 by 3,
so
right?
Lucky, I'm loving this, man. But here's what I gotta do, man.
Oh yeah, we gotta, yeah.
My goal is we I only got you to the top of the hour. And
Right, right,
I
right.
gotta bring the cookie jar from the top shelf down so that everybody can grab a cookie.
Okay, you're right,
Uh,
right. Okay,
Although I'm not gonna get through all these questions, I want to go macro right now.
right, right.
I want to bring some of your life experiences to bear on some of these folks in our audience. So you had a first question, and I want to give it to you. Success is not an accident, but it is engineered. Take us back to the beginning. What was your defining moment that pushed you to bet on yourself?
That defining moment was after like I said in 2014, what it happened, and going through 2015 and 16. Um, I met the daughter of a great healer known as Dr. Sabi, Alfredo Bowman.
Mm,
In Atlanta, Georgia, I met his daughter Usha. And Usha, and I met Zave, and I met Adam, and I met their cousin Doshinko. And I watched them heal a family, a young black boy who was 8 years old and his little brother who was 6 years old. Their father was like, I guess he was a firefighter, big, intimidating black dude. He had to be like 6'7", 6'6". He was tall, but he was a firefighter. And the mother was, I believe she was a teacher, she said. And lovely black family, 2 young boys. The one kid had autism, the other one had Down syndrome. You could
okay,
tell in the way they walked, you could tell that their eyes wasn't lining up. You could
sure.
tell that they couldn't really form speech. And 2 months of being on the products, the holistic products, originally created by Alfredo Bowman, being you know, continued on by his daughter and his kids and his kinfolk, his family. In 2 months of being on Maya and Bolo and all those other different alkaline biomineral, African biomineral balance,
Hmm.
situations, those boys were healed. No more autism, no more Down syndrome. And it was crazy enough because I was there for a client, because that was one of my other side hustles, was connecting people who had compromised immune systems or compromised health problems to Usha and Zave at Usha's Healing Center in Dolshinko. And so I would help connect them to their Chamblee location in Atlanta, Northeast Atlanta. And so I was going to this guy. He had his own business. I was getting him products for himself because he wanted to get himself better. His
Mm-hmm.
only daughter was getting married. He wanted to be healthy enough to walk her down the aisle. So I was getting to go pick up his package. And I was sitting in the lobby waiting for the package to get made. And they came in and I seen the situation. 2 months later, I went back to re-up on the same package for that same client, as a matter of fact. And I seen the dude kind of just came through the door in the lobby. Usha came off from behind the counter, to greet him. And that man broke down like stuff that I only seen in like church. Like that very tall, very strong, very domineering, very command the room fella, brother, he broke down on his knees. On his knees, he broke down and cried and grabbed onto Usha's skirt, crying, "You saved my sons, you saved my sons," and just tears bawling. "You saved my kids, you saved my sons." And his wife came in the door right behind him into the lobby and tried to pick him up. But he's a big dude. He was a big dude. She tried to like lift him off the ground,
Yeah.
get his dignity back up. But it was so emotional. She broke down to her knees right alongside him crying. And then the two little boys walked in on their own, right behind the mom. I guess they got out the car, walked behind the mom, and came in the lobby on their own. And then they walked over to their dad, who was on his knees crying at Usha's skirt. "It's okay, mommy and daddy. We all better now. You don't have to cry." I
Wow.
couldn't hold it. I'm not an emotional person like that, even with my empathic energy. I keep a very stoic, very nonchalant, very aloof type of demeanor about myself. But I broke down and cried. And I swore that was like a real life miracle that I witnessed that day. And what it did for me, that whole experience, seeing that, was it helped me heal from losing my aunties from cancer. It helped me heal from not being there for my fiance who died from a heart attack in their sleep. It helped me heal and show what was possible and hope and how you can make an impact on people who are still here, who are still living with the motivation. Because Usha, you know what I mean? She just, all of them, they just lost Alfredo Bowman. Dr. Sebi had just was, after that BS. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
He died in prison
He,
from
yeah, so you can say he died or you can say he was murdered, but the
yeah,
he's
well,
not here. He's
yeah,
not here. You know
he's
what I
not
mean?
here.
He transitioned.
Yeah.
And so they family's still healing from that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just like to know a legacy that was left and what impact it still leaves and still makes. And how you carry that. You get to be the carrier of that legacy.
Oh, that's now it's hit me what you're saying. The legacy piece.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
that was a defining moment to like, you learned all this stuff about insurance and crypto and credit and business formation and securities and bonds and trust and IT and blockchain and smart contracts and this and that. Why not give this information to people who could change their lives for the better, who could level up themselves? Why not spread happiness and joy and help people heal? Give them hope. Give them their breakthrough, and that's what really motivated me to instead of just working for others and always becoming employee of the month or supervisor or administrator. And I'm not knocking working for someone else. Like, I'm not knocking a 9 to 5. What I'm saying is, because those things teach you the value of a dollar, and they teach you accountability, and they teach you how to budget, and they teach you valuable lessons that you can only really learn through experience. And so, and if you take those skill sets and that same etiquette, that same systematic structure, and you do it for yourself, now you could pass the baton. You could pay it forward.
Correct.
A candle never goes out from lighting another candle. You
Correct.
don't have to
Oh,
dim
that's so
somebody else's
good.
light,
That's so good, brother. That's
you know. So that was my defining moment that led me down this path. That was
Wow, brother.
2016. Yeah,
That
2016.
you took me a place I hadn't intended to go. That 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 was some real stuff right there. And I hope my audience just got a tenth of what he was saying. You know, there's so many opportunities, there's so many experiences that God will put in front of you. And the general goal is for it's not about blessings coming to you, but blessings coming through you. How are you gonna be that legacy? Okay, all right. We cooking. Hold on now. My next question. So wealth isn't created by hard work, but it is created by smart work, thinking strategic. What was one business move or strategy decision that changed the game for you?
So one business move and one business move for me for the L7 Solutions system is when I taught people the 3 C's, going back to the power three out of the 7 C's, the 3 C's was cash, credit, crypto. And so showing people how to move and leverage the equity or their buying power from the cash that they earn from their 9 to 5 or whatever source of income that they got to being able to not touch that cash per se and be able to leverage the credit that can be issued to them by lenders and institutions and creditors, and to be able to leverage the volatility of cryptocurrency. And if you know how to perform what's called arbitrage, or being able to take advantage of the market's lows and highs,
Mm-hmm.
depending on the currency, then you can set something up. But beyond that, that's just the negotiable instruments. You have to still have what's called a core offer or a
Mm-hmm.
value proposition. And so that service or product, that value proposition, that core value, it allows for what? Value exchange, right?
Correct.
Value exchange for change, as above, so below. The Alchemist Creed.
Mm-hmm.
What you give in is what you put out. What you put in is what you get out. What you reap, what you sow, right? You can't expect a harvest if you don't plant no seeds,
Correct.
right? So using those philosophies and using that, one good business move for me was I learned a lot about how Facebook became what it did and how Google became what it was, right? Facebook and Google are free last time I checked for users.
Correct.
How did they become multi-billion-dollar industries, Fortune 100 companies? It was through, CPA, cost per action, or PPC, pay per click, which is a
Mm-hmm.
form of ad revenue streams.
Mm-hmm.
And so even though it's free for us users, we're clicking on these links. We're clicking on these things. We're making these profiles. We're sharing this content. We're building up these algorithms and these profiles about what we like, what we don't like, what we agree, what we don't agree. We're making profiles so it makes it easier for commercial entities to sell to us their value
That's right.
exchange,
That's right.
right? And that, which is very similar to what we do at L7s. But the ad revenue, I seen I worked at Cheesecake Factory during that time. So my time at Cheesecake Factory was between 2013, 2018, 19, on and off. But one of the times I was working at Cheesecake Factory, there was this very big, powerful ad revenue company called Maps. Most people don't probably remember Maps. Some people, maybe have heard of it. MAP stands for My Advertising Pays System. And so with MAPS, there was this party at Cheesecake Factory. I was working that shift as a busser that day.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was getting ready the table, putting the tables together for a big party. I think it was like a party of like 16 or 18. So we was just putting all the tables together, cleaning them, setting up the sets, everything. And when they got there, it was like 8 couples, 16, 16 people, 8 couples. And Japanese couples, black couples, white couples, Russian couples, Italian couples. It was just couples from people from all over the world here in
Okay.
Atlanta at Cheesecake Factory. And I'm just like, and it was in Alpharetta, North Atlanta. And so I'm just like, what is this? Like some kind of like kink ring or something? Like, what are y'all doing together? Like, I was trying to put it, I'm
You
ear
trying to put
hustling while
pieces
busting down
together.
tape. I'm trying to piece while all these different people are coming together for the first time, mind you. For the first time, they're talking as they're waiting and ordering stuff on the menu. and going through that big library of a book on the Cheesecake Factory menu. I love it, but it always changes. It's crazy. But the fact is, they're talking, and I'm ear hustling while I'm cleaning. I'm doing my job, but I'm ear hustling. I can't help it. And
Mm-hmm.
so they're just like talking, and they're just all just talking about how much money they made, over the past year working with each other. And
Mm-hmm.
all they kept saying was maps, maps, maps. They never said my advertising page not once. They just kept saying like they were speaking in acronyms, they were
Mm-hmm.
speaking in all that, but they were dropping numbers like 6, 7, 8 figures numbers. Not 8, probably 6, 7 figures, definitely. And
Mm-hmm.
so they were so happy with what they did, they decided they all coordinate this trip and come from all different places around the world and meet with each other and celebrate each other in Atlanta. And I'm like, what could have brought that on? You know what I mean? They
Sure.
never met each other until that day in person. And so I was like, what is that about? So I started deep diving. I started researching what Maps was, found out what it was. And I knew at the point where ad revenue was, I just didn't know that offer. And I'm like, okay, cool. The beautiful part about Maps is just like Facebook and Google, how it works. When you click on a search that you put in Google, or you click on different links on Facebook, PPC, pay per click, uh the advertising company, they will generate a revenue of anywhere from a fraction of a penny
Mm-hmm.
or a whole penny up to $3 per click. And you're
Okay.
like, a penny, a fraction of a penny, a dollar, $3, that ain't no money. That's what someone, but anyone who knows about the law of compounding and hyper compounding and
Yeah.
things,
Yeah.
would you want $1 million, or would you want a penny comp and that whole
Yeah.
question. And so they were able to use Maps the way Facebook and Google makes their revenue off advertising revenue to make 6, 7 figures and just change their complete lives. And not only change their complete lives, because it's pay per click, because it's ad revenue, it's a hands off business.
Sure.
It's a
That's
hands off
passive.
business. It's
Yeah.
passive.
Yeah. Or semi-passive. I mean,
It's semi-passive,
you gotta
right?
get
Like they
something
still got to
started.
make the contracts.
Yeah.
Like you got XY Elite, you got Offer Vault, you got CPA, you got all these different things. You got Max Bounty, you got Maps don't exist no more, but you had all these things. Some people knew about Traffic Monsoon. There's a lot. There's a lot of them out there. If you're in that field, if you're in that space, but so they made so much money, and it was so ridiculous, and it was so crazy. And I know for a fact on U.S. servers banned Maps because people started using it for money laundering, of course, to
Oh,
wash
wow.
large sums of money because you couldn't really track it. And then
Wow.
thanks to cryptocurrency, you definitely couldn't track it.
Right.
And so people, if they needed to move a certain amount of money, they could put it into ad revenue or marketing spend or ad spend, then wash it, clean it out into Bitcoin or cryptocurrency, and it's whole new money. Nobody
Mm.
knows anything. And so that's why Maps no longer exist in the US back then. Like it was another, if you missed a wave, you missed a wave. Right? But it's
I,
the gem. Success leaves clues. It leaves clues. So you take the system of setting up an ad revenue income stream, and you take the cash flow, credit, and cryptocurrency currency exchange, and know those techniques. And now, whenever you have your offer, whether it's commercial real estate, Turo, cars, Airbnb, auto, this, that,
mhm.
food, but beverage industry, health and wellness, fitness, whatever your offer is, whatever your value is, whatever your
Sure.
service product is, if you can take that and know how to leverage custody, currency, and equity and buying power, and being able to receive those type of payments, and then being able to set up your investments or your PAM, portfolio asset management, or percentile asset management accounts for those who have Fidelity and Merrill Lynch and all those other different types of things. But if
Hmm.
you set up your PAM account and your portfolio correctly, now you have semi-passive, residual, more than just royalties, right? You're getting that money coming in. Once you get past your magic number, and the real quick summary of that, your magic number is $1 over your total expenses, your
Yes, sir.
lifestyle, your household. Soon
Yes,
as you
sir.
make you're in profit, right? If you
Yes,
paid
sir.
all your bills and you got all your food, you got all your hygiene, all your gas, all your this, everything's good for the month, and you made $1 over that, you're in profit. You're
Hmm.
in the black. You're out the red, you're in the black. So if you find your magic number and you let that magic number be generated by ad spend or revenue, residual income,
Passive income.
you're making money while you're asleep.
That's how you get out.
And that's how you get out.
That's
And
how you
that's how
get
you
out.
get out. And that's how those people change. That's why those people flew all across the world to go to Cheesecake Factory in Atlanta, Georgia, to meet each other, to, celebrate and, celebrate each other and acknowledge each other and recognize each other for trusting each other. Because there had to be a lot of trust to build that team. It had to be a lot of trust to make those investments and work together and make all that money.
Wow.
They came together and
Wow.
celebrated, and that was a business move that kind of helped me because that gave me the strategy to know, oh, if I ever get a windfall, an insurance settlement, an inheritance, not that I thought I was going to get inheritance, but anything ever happens and I get a big windfall of money, right? Now I know what to do with it, and that is what allowed me to turn my LLC into a C corporation, and that allowed me to make connections with international vendors and to get it into the business loan brokering business, which started off in 2019, which between 2019 and 2021 allowed me to make in revenue, gross profit, in gross income, not net, but gross income 4.6 million. And that was just through Stripe QuickBooks invoicing. We made more money than that if you don't count what was made in Bitcoin, wallet exchanges, and other different merchant accounts that wasn't QuickBooks. But on QuickBooks and for IRS purposes, yeah, 4.6. And so, yeah,
Lucky, this is so good, man. I need a promise from you, man. Before I ask you my final question, because we're at the top of the hour, I need a commitment from you. Will you agree to come back on the podcast in the next 6 to 9 months
absolutely.
so we can
Absolutely.
finish what we started? Because
Absolutely.
you gave us some high level stuff, brother. This was good. We went places that I've never gone with some of my guests. And it was beautiful and it was hard hitting. So can I get that commitment from you?
I vow as the captain of the 7 C's to teach you the financial literacies. And
I
again,
love it.
that's what we do. That's what we do here.
I
So
love it. All right.
I put that
All
on
right.
my title.
Before we land this plane, this is the Level Up podcast, and we don't just talk about success, we execute. If someone is listening right now, inspired and ready to move, but don't know where to start, what's the first step they need to take today to change their life?
This is not me originally. This is Kevin Trudeau, and I don't even think it was him originally. It may have been Napoleon Hill. But know thyself and know the score. KTS, know the score. The way you know the score, you got to know the game. The way you know the game is learn the score. So that means learn your credit. Don't be scared of credit. Cash is king, and if that's the case, then credit is the president or the tyrant or the ruler. Learn your credit, learn your magic number, and your magic number is through learning a budget. Just do it. Just take out a few minutes and learn how much money you spend a month and how much money you got in a month. And if you put $1 on top of that, that's your magic number. Learn your credit score, learn Experian, Equifax, TransUnion, learn the difference between Vantage scores and FICO scores. Learn your FICO scores, right? And after all that is said and done, once you learn your credit and you learn your cash flow or your lifestyle, your magic number, once those two things are established, you can then find your habits. And then it's a matter of exchanging good habits for your habits that are not money and not productive or producing. And that's how you learn yourself. And when you learn yourself like that, then you come to someone, or you can do research on your own or chat GPT it, but learn crypto because that is the wave. So credit, crypto, cash flow, magic number, acquisition of digital assets, crypto, and learn your credit score. If you do those three things, watch your world change. Watch your world change. And I'm a video gamer, so I'm all about leveling up.
So
So
this is so good. You are now motivating me for me to accept crypto from some of my coaching clients. And that's a whole nother world that I had never thought I would enter. But you inspired me, brother. So this was beautiful. So my audience, I am going to be taking a break next Saturday. My wife has got me an amazing Valentine's Day gift. So we're gonna be going to a concert out of town, but we will be back in 2 weeks. But beyond that, as you know, from my spirit to your spirit, be blessed, but more importantly, be a blessing. Thank you guys, and we'll talk to you later. Lucky, look for me to send you a text, brother, with this the raw footage for you to be able to utilize for your different marketing profiles. And Lucky, I didn't ask this, but it is going to be on my caption. If someone is interested in reaching out to you, can you share your social medias right quick?
All right. Yeah. So my main social media is Lucky Links. On Instagram is LUCKIE, my first name, underscore LINKS. And that'll lead you to the other social media, which is Lobo de Suerte, L7S, Captain of the Seven Seas. So altogether is Learn with LLC, and LLC stands for Lobo, Links, and Captain. But yeah, that will take you. But if you get on there, that'll take you to my website, l7inc.com, which you'll be able to book a appointment with me on my calendar and get your R&R review and recommendation, which is a discovery call, and just to introduce yourself, so we can help you out of your situation and find your solution. But yeah, l7sinc.com, or if you go to my social media, it is Lucky_Links on Instagram, and that'll take you to everything else. All right. So that's the
Lucky,
socials.
you are the man, man. I appreciate your time this afternoon, man.
Oh,
Take
absolutely.
care, my brother.
I will. Oh, last thing. I am rebranding. So if you see that I don't got that many posts, they're not fake accounts. They are me. Just a disclaimer for all those people like, oh,
All
hey,
right.
hey. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Now
man.
my audience is deeper than that. We're good. We're good.
All right.
Appreciate that though, man.
It was an
All right,
honor,
man.
man. All right.
We'll circle back. Love and peace, man.
Love and peace.